Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to AIM Impact on Your Health. AIM Impact on Your Health, heard every day. Oh, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock.
Go ahead.
Hey, you hearing me?
I'm hearing you just fine.
I'm not hearing. Okay, so if you're hearing me just fine on the radio, I'm just not getting that good signal. When I cut for a break, check with me and make sure that I'm able to hear you. I may have to go to the phone.
Okay, that's fine.
What I was doing is I was listening to another station. I was listening to music.
Oh, geez.
It wasn't you. It's just on the same frequency with the antenna turned one direction. A whole different station comes in and plays oldies, and I thought I was listening to you.
Oh boy. Okay, well, you are free to go.
Okay, and you're getting me loud and clear, right?
I'm getting you loud and clear. That's right.
Okay.
Okay.
Here we go. Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to AIM Impact on Your Health. A little bit of a rocky start. We're getting it connected, so AIM Impact on Your Health for every day. Our goal is to have you learn at least one thing to help you live better and longer. AIM Impact on Your Health. Well, it's heard every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney, and I'm with you each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9. AIM Impact on Your Health, where each day you'll find current medical news, knowledgeable guests, fascinating health topics, and where we do encourage you to call in to join in. Today, I tell you what, it was in April, we had a good friend of ours come aboard. His name is Rick Hill. He had a very interesting story about his own personal quest with respect to a diagnosis of testicular cancer. He wasn't supposed to survive more than 6 months, and here it was a number of years later. And he had taken on a crusade. And his mantra was, could the air inside of your house be killing you? Well, this led to an introduction to a whole line of products introduced to us and brought to us by a company called Healthy Perceptions. Today we're going to have the owner, president, founder of Healthy Perceptions with us. His name is Mr. John Kerr, and he was nice enough at that time to send me a whole bunch of products that they manufacture. I've been using them since that time, and I thought it was about time to get a hold of Mr. John Kerr, and he's going to be with us today, right after our first break, talking about the concepts behind the products that they make at Healthy Perceptions. And so with that in mind, if you have anything in mind, a question that you're going to want to ask Mr. John Kerr, the number, as always, will be, of course, 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. And I will give that number additionally throughout the hour. Okay, a couple calendar items here. Hey, it's a Friday version of the show. You know that. A Get 'em Up Out of Town version of the show. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I hope you have a lot planned. More graduation parties. I know I've got to go to a few this weekend. They all seem to be clustered about and around. Having one just graduated from high school, you know. Checking in with Roy Kerr today. Hopefully, he's back in the saddle again. He is in business. He's doing his doctor thing again up in the Portersville area. And this is well within our listening area, and I really want to welcome him back. And hopefully on Monday, and maybe even Monday and Wednesday next week, we're going to have Roy with us. You don't want to miss these shows. He is such a stalwart and a staple item, literally a foundation of alternative medicine in the Pittsburgh area, Worcester, Pennsylvania area for 20, 30 years plus. And he's going to be our guest on Monday talking about thyroid disease. Was nice enough to share many of his secrets with me. I'm very much interested in correcting these thyroid anomalies, which is indigenous to this area, especially in our women. And we'll talk more about all that on Monday with Dr. Kerr. Let's see. Don't forget the products the product. And in the books, we have a whole bunch of books here written by Deborah Ray in collaboration with those two physicians, John Young and Aida Reyes. When you're in the office, when you're in here visiting me, don't forget to ask for your free copy of the book. Also, too, you may want to have a free taste of Fruit of the Spirit, this really interesting product made with the Bible in mind. 14 biblical fruit purees, tasting wonderfully, alkalinizing minerals from the Dead Sea, resveratrol, frankincense, and myrrh for herbs, and the list goes on and on and on. The number to order some of the Fruit of the Spirit, which it comes in a monthly supply, $29, pretty good way to start the day, great tasting, 1-800-442-3793. That's 1-800-442-3793. Or head to the website at Fruit Spirit, not Fruit of the Spirit, it's fruitspirit.com, and order it up so you'll see an opening page with a number of doctors listed across the state of the United States. Scroll down, you'll find me there, and click on it, and then it takes you through a number of prompts to finally get you to the point where you'll be able to purchase the product at a reasonable price, I should say. $29 is pretty good. It started at $39 when we launched here in the Pittsburgh area back in November of last year, and it's been an outstanding product. We love the association that has been made with Deborah Ray, putting the full force of her reputation behind it. Those that have tried it have all said the same thing, that this is the new item that they've introduced to their breakfast milk and how they start today. 1 ounce of this stuff is equivalent to 5 servings of fruit and vegetables in terms of its nutrition. Now, looking at websites, as I always do, going through my computer each and every morning, came across this morning. It's from McCullough's site, talking about, he really has, as well as a lot of the docs that I know, even conventional docs have moved and are gravitating towards the vitamin D component and really promoting an optimal level of vitamin D. The vitamin D, of course, that you want to ask for from your doctor to order. And don't just let them write out on the order blood test for vitamin D. This will be very confusing to the labs because there are at least 5 vitamin Ds. And if you just write and allow the doctors to write vitamin D level, which they very well may do, you're going to find that you will not be getting a standardized response in terms of the actual vitamin D that you need to know where you stand with this particular substance. So I keep mentioning to everybody out there that when they go to their doctor, they need to ask their doctor to write for the 25-OHD3 form of vitamin D, and that is not the active form. The active form is only active for literally minutes, so you can't be asking for that level as a best measure, and I think the doctors may very well have that in mind. 25-OHD3 is the level you want, and Dr. McCullough, as well as most of the doctors, admit that the optimal levels that you're going for are well above 80 nanograms per milliliter. Okay, with that in mind, there's big conflict now that it emerges along with the vitamin C story because it's known as the sunshine vitamin. And here we have the entire medical profession telling you, and have been telling you for years, look, you need to run away from the sun. You need to cover up from the sun. You need to make certain that you don't get overexposed in the sun, and there's a war coming. I can see the dermatology community not really sitting well with the vitamin D enthusiasts. I think what ultimately is going to, this is just an aside, but the research appears to be pointing to the fact that it's the lack of vitamin D that predisposes one to skin cancers. And with vitamin D on board, and I'm waiting for that study to prove it, because there should be places in this world that you can go to and determine that the indigenous people of the area in the equatorial regions where they got plenty of sunshine probably don't even have a whiff of any skin cancers. At least I'm waiting for that research to come out. With that in mind, keep an eye out because it's very common for everyone to be buying these products now as summer moves on. And there are a couple things you need to keep in mind. When you buy products that you're going to use for your skin, whether for the sun itself or after sun exposure, keep an eye out for keywords like, written on the bottle, for professional use only. Now, you think if you have something that's marked for professional use only, that you really got something that's extra special that nobody else can get. Well, here's what you have. The phrase professional use only is a phrase that allows cosmetic companies to remove harmful chemicals from their labels. And harmful chemicals are really what you need to keep an eye out for when selecting products. So the word for professional use only really isn't the cherished phrase that you should be looking for, because it's really stealthily hiding what could potentially and more than likely are pretty harmful chemicals found in the product. There's also a word that's found on these products called hypoallergenic. And interesting enough, and I've seen that label a number of times, there's no actual testing that is necessary to claim that a product is hypoallergenic. I didn't know that. I don't know if you did either. Allergy-free or safe for sensitive skin, there are no standards that allow for the use of those terms. They're just placed on the bottle by those who manufacture the product. Neither the FDA or any other regulating body even requires the companies to prove those claims. What you do have to keep in mind is there are harmful chemicals that are intentionally placed in the product. Harmful chemicals are not required to be listed. It's no shocker that you never see them listed either. And that's a little word to the wise as you are moving out to having some fun in the sun and are really interested in how the sun, which UVA rays will seriously begin to cause aging. UVB will cause you to get vitamin D. So there's a dichotomy there that the fight wages on. I'll keep bringing to you the information as it keeps coming forward, but it looks as though sunshine is okay, as long as you protect that skin afterwards especially. Now, let's do this. We're going to take a short break. In the interim, we're going to dial up our good friend John Kerr, owner of the company called Healthy Perceptions, and get a chance to hear from him the products that he had, well, many of which he actually even sent me. I've been using since April, and it just felt so bad that I finally had to call him up and say, hey, you got to come aboard and talk to us about these things, because I've been using them and got quite comfortable with them over these many months. So be back in a moment.
Have you found us on the dial yet?
Tell you what I'm going to do. Give me... okay. I finally figured out what the problem was.
Uh-oh.
I gotcha. I am hearing you. Now I'm going to turn away and call up the guest.
Okie doke.
Okay.
Now formulated into a delicious whole fruit puree product rich in antioxidants and minerals. Your health is more than just a test result. It's a balance of physical, spiritual, and emotional factors. You work regularly to strengthen your faith. Let Fruit the Spirit help cover your nutritional needs in a convenient and cost-effective ounce a day. Call 1-800-442-3793 for a special promotional offer. Fruit the Spirit, a blessing for your good health. Fruit of the Spirit, 5 servings of fruits and minerals with no added sugars. That's 1-800-442-3793 for your good health. Call them now, 1-800-442-3793.
This is Dennis J. Courtney, MD. You become confused about how best to manage your health. It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough, but no matter how dutifully you follow the instructions, it just doesn't quite produce the results that you are looking for. If this confusion sounds familiar to you, give us a call at the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years. We offer metabolic nutrition testing, immune system repair, natural hormone replacement therapy, chelation therapy, cutting-edge allergy correction, and a host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
Dennis J. Courtney, MD, is located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back once again to AM Impact on Your Health. AM Impact on Your Health, heard each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney with you on this Friday version of the show. As we say, it's a get 'em up, out-of-town version of the show for whatever you may have planned for the weekend. And, of course, look forward to seeing you back here on Monday. But before you leave, I thought you might like to hear some words of wisdom from a gentleman who, well, you indirectly have heard from before. About sometime in April, we had a guest on our show. His name was Rick Hill. Rick had a pretty rocky road earlier in his life with a diagnosis of testicular cancer and really was not expected to survive. Many years later, he now comes to us saying, hey, I not only survived, I've made this my life's work, and became associated with a company called Heakthy Perceptions. That company makes some wonderful products. I know because, well, I was nice enough, I was lucky enough to receive a number of those products from the gentleman we're going to speak to today. I've been using them since I received them. I can just speak of how helpful they've been for me. We're going to find out from the owner just about how these products are made, as much as we can about them. The company, Heakthy Perceptions. The owner and founder, his name is John Kerr, and he's with us right now. Let's say good morning and welcome aboard, Mr. Kerr.
Good morning, Dr. Courtney. It's a pleasure to be here, and thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. As I think I told you when I called you up the other day, I was literally embarrassed to see that it was all the way back in April that you were nice enough to send me a number of your products after we had Rick Hill on the show. And, boy, I put them into play immediately. I've been using them, and I said, oh, my God, I've got to call this gentleman, first of all, to thank him for being so kind as to send them this way, and to give him an opportunity to come on the show to explain to listeners here in the Pittsburgh area, many of which who actually purchased the product whenever we were last talking about it, but may decide to, dial you up today. We'll see. How about that, Rick? That's going to be my objective, John, as we move on.
Absolutely. That sounds great. And first of all, we're glad you get the product and glad that you're enjoying it, and we appreciate the support from you, Dr. Courtney. Yeah, these products are not just something from a company that sells them. We're a family-owned business, and we use the products. My father was in this industry for 25 years, and I've been in it for about 15 years now with the air and water purification. And, you know, we find products that are useful in our lives. I have 2 kids, with a third one on the way, and all of our employees use our products, and we feel that it's very helpful and can be a huge impact on everyone's lives as far as drinking clean water and breathing clean air.
So did I gather from listening to just what you spoke of a moment ago that the family sort of pulled you into the business by virtue of your father starting it?
Well, somewhat, yes. My dad was in this business for 25 years, had a background in asbestos removal and lead abatement. That got him into the air industry, and he always had a passion for clean water, too. Back in 1983, he came out with a product called Ice Mate, and it actually, that's back when the bottled water industry was really big. And it took the bottled water and put it into a reservoir on top of the fridge and gave you clean ice to drink with your clean water. After that, in 1987, he came out with the first point-of-view shower filter, which is shower filtration. He saw a need for that because he read some studies that said that, you know, if you take a shower, you can be up to 8 to 10 times more exposed to toxins in your water than drinking that same water. And the reason that is that most people take a hot shower, and when you do, your skin, pores in your skin open up, and you absorb a lot of those chemicals, as well as that steam you see coming off the water, especially in a lot of major cities. It's not always just steam. It's chemical, it's chlorine and other gases vaporizing into the air, and you're breathing that in and ingesting that. So that brought about the shower filter back in 1987, and we carry one very similar to that today. And then we have the air purifiers. Some years ago, we started out with a technology that was similar to an ozone generator that produced ozone, basically. There's 2 methods of cleaning air out there. One is filtration, and the other is proactive air purification. And the difference is, with a filter, you're trying to take all the air in the room or the house and pull it through a little box and clean it inside the box. Well, the advantage of using a proactive purification method is you're going to the source of the problem and cleaning at the source. So if you have let's say, smoke or mold or some kind of contaminant in your house, you're not trying to pull that contaminant all the way across your breathing space and then into a little box. We like to call it thinking outside the box. So you're going out to the source and cleaning at the source. What the technology we use today is far more safer than what the ozone technology was some 15, 20 years ago. It's a process called photocatalysis. And what that does is, it's a big name, but it's advanced oxidation. We take a light, bounce it off a target, and create what's called a hydroxyl radical that goes out and oxidizes mold and bacteria. And in independent testing, we're getting a 90% reduction in mold and a 75% reduction in bacteria. But the big thing that we have are the testimonials that come into us. And we really know the products are working because we get typically 3 or 4 testimonials every week of folks saying so. We have a 30-day money-back guarantee on our products, and with that, we get less than 1% return.
Well, let's talk about the air purifier in particular. For instance, I had immediately when I received that item from you, plugged it into my office. It's been going just fine since then. I think, it's certainly there is a different aroma in the room.
Sure.
It smells clean. It smells like the room literally has just been washed down. I think it smells a bit like ozone would. Why do I think that even though it's not using the ozone mechanism that you used to use, or
right,
but it still seems to me like it is. Why is that? What am I smelling?
What size room are you in, Doctor?
I'm in a pretty large office room.
200 square feet, maybe?
Yeah, that seems sure.
Yes, that product is sized for about 700 square feet, and typically it's used in a large bedroom or a living room kitchen combination. When you have that product in a smaller area, you may notice a slight smell that may be similar to ozone. When we've done independent testing with that product, when we got that 90% reduction in mold and 75% reduction in bacteria, we also have to test for ozone. Any air purifier that's proactive has to test for ozone. There's a certain standard you have to meet. EPA says you have to be at or below 0.05 parts per million, and FDA says you have to be at 0.04 parts per million or less. And 750 square feet, we were at 0.01 parts per million, so we were far less than what we needed to be. But as in any proactive air purifier, you may have low levels of ozone that are, or some you may have higher levels of ozone. But in testing, we have found that we were way below that. But we are able to produce that clean smell.
That's the smell I got, and
right.
I've been in areas where ozone generation was, and it's just a similar aroma that I'm talking about, and evidently it may very well be ozone that I'm smelling, huh?
It may be low levels of ozone, but the problem with most ozone generators, they're doing corona discharge, and with that, they're also splitting the oxides of nitrogen in the air, and that creates if things can corrode in the actual building or home, metal, because you are doing oxidation, and this is with ozone technology, not with ours. But it's a more pungent smell than what we're producing with the hydroxyl radicals in our products. So I don't want to get off track saying that we're an ozone generator because we're not. That is not what we're doing. That is not our primary form of purification. But the reason I was bringing that together, it's the same idea or concept, and that is proactive, and that is going out to the source of the problem and cleaning up the source.
Yeah, I think it was well put by Rick and certainly by you. With respect to all the products you see demonstrated on television, and there are a myriad of them.
Sure.
They are the filtration type, at least is what I see. And you use a phrase called pulling the room through the machine. Okay, literally these other products are relying on how forceful the suction is to get it on.
They're relying on airflow, and what my dad found, and through asbestos abatement and putting rooms that are negative pressures, to properly clean air, you have to have 4 air exchanges every hour. That means every 15 minutes you've got to pull all the air in the room or in the house into a little box.
Oh, you need an airplane engine for that.
Exactly. If you properly do that, it's going to sound like an airplane going off in your house. So the way of getting around that is using this proactive approach to cleaning air, and that's actually going to the source. Dad always used the terminology of a little Pac-Man going out in your environment and gobbling up all the bad stuff. but it's very effective in reducing mold, very effective in reducing bacteria, and there's been some studies by leading universities that's saying it's getting virus reduction as well. We haven't tested for viruses perfectly, ourselves, but we know from anecdotal evidence that we're helping out there. My wife was a school teacher for several years, and she put the units in her classroom. And when the kids got in from summer and they opened up the schools and turned on the HVAC systems that had been sitting for a while, she noticed her kids getting sick. She put our products in there and noticed that the kids started being less and less sick. You had the less spreading of germs between the kids, and you had less problems due to those buildings sitting up for a long period of time. So from that standpoint, we knew it was very effective.
Wonderful. I think there's a knock on the door. Maybe it's a question already. You don't mind taking questions, do you?
No, absolutely.
Hey, come on in the store. You're with John Kerr, right ahead, the president of the company Healthy Perceptions. Go right ahead. What's your question?
Hey, how you doing, Doc?
Pretty good.
He was talking about the HVAC. What was he saying? The heating and air conditioning? I can barely understand it.
Talking about air purifier that his company Healthy Perceptions manufactures. I've been using it now since April there, Danville. I know this voice very well, John, so
okay.
But you didn't understand what our topic was? Is that why you gave us a call, or do you have a specific question about air purification?
Well, okay, now, I remember reading something about after a lightning storm, and you say there's lightning very close or whatever, they said the air is ionized. Is that a similar concept? Is it an ionization process, or how does it work?
We have ionization in there. That is part of the technology. But what we're doing is photocatalysis. Photo means light, and we're using a catalyst to bounce that light off. So in a sense, it could be similar to what you're speaking of with a lightning storm. But we're producing hydroxyl radicals and superoxide ions, which are actually going out into the environment and getting rid of mold and bacteria and other things that are in the air that are harmful to humans.
Okay, Danville? Okay, Danville may have hung up. Well, that's certainly the scientific explanation. I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the aroma that I described is not pungent. It is a pleasant aroma. It gives the impression that this room has just been cleaned down. I mean, been hosed down or something.
And one thing we teach, Dr. Courtney, with our products, if you look on the internet, there's a ton of air purifiers out there, not just filter, but air purifiers. But what most of them make the mistake of doing is saying that they can treat a whole home or office building from a central location. That you can stick this in your living room and it's going to cover all 2,000 or 3,000 square feet of your home. The problem with that is it really going to get into your bathrooms, your closets, and other areas of your home where it needs to be used? You know, if you burn something in your kitchen, you're going to smell it, maybe in your living room. But do you smell it as much the further you get away from it? I mean, you have natural air currents throughout your house. But if you put an air purifier in a centralized location, you're not going to be as effective as using multiple units in multiple locations. And what we have been able to do with this product, where most air purifiers out there on the market retail anywhere from $500 to $700 or $800, we have gotten the price down to this one where we can put multiple units in a home. So if you buy 2 air purifiers, you get 1 free. The retail is $399.95, or excuse me, $299.95. So that's 3 air purifiers you're getting for $600 or an average cost of $200. But it's the buy 2 get 1 free promotion. And if your viewers call in or go to our website, they can find out more about that.
Hey, sticking to that, why don't we get that out of the way right now? What is a number that someone could call if they had further interest in pursuing we're talking about the air purifiers now. Yes. There are other products we'll be talking about in a moment. But website information, telephone information, what would that be?
Our company website is healthyperceptions.com. That's healthy, PERCEPTIONS.com. And our toll-free number is 888-340-0247. I'll give that one more time. It's 888-340-0247. Okay,
wonderful. And we'll give that number. Additionally, if you want to get pencil and paper so you can write it down, ladies and gentlemen, we'll ask John to give us that number just a little bit again. By the way, the company's Healthy Perception, the products are called Eclair. Is that just, how did you come about the name of Eclair?
Again, if you look at the water and air industry, there's a lot out there. We like the name Eclair. It's actually Portuguese for clear, so clear water and clear air. But it had a nice ring to it, so we ran with it.
It does have a nice ring to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's a That's our trademark of the company. It's the Eclair product line, and it refers to clean water and clean air.
Let's talk a little bit about water, okay? You said something a moment ago, and when you said it, it triggered a question in my mind. You started talking about your dad's involvement with purifying water to make ice. Do you remember that statement you made about this?
Yes, I did. And that technology was out before we had actually filters in our fridge. And our company now has a inline filter that actually hooks into the line behind your fridge to go through a cleansing process before it gets into your refrigerator itself. But yeah, the problem was, or the concept was, that if, I don't know about as much in the north, but in the south, we all take water, put it on ice, and if you're taking clean water and putting it on dirty ice, then you eventually have dirty water. So, you know what the idea was is to purify that water going into your refrigerator, so you then have clean ice.
Well, here's a question nobody ever seemed to answer. I'm guessing you're going to know the answer to this, but I'm very excited about it. When you get ice from a refrigerator, and nowadays most refrigerators have ice making capabilities. They have an ice maker already in it. Nonetheless, that ice always comes out as, I'm going to call it, rime ice. And when you compare that to the kind of ice you purchase like in a bag, or if you have an ice maker, this is very clear. I mean, it's such a night and day, in my opinion, way of describing how ice could badly taste and how ice could taste at best.
Right.
And first of all, why is it that refrigerator ice, I've never seen a refrigerator make ice that isn't on par with what you could purchase if you bought it outside?
Well, a lot of that is due to the quality of water you're putting in that ice.
So if you filter that water good enough,
right,
you're saying it should come out looking like clear ice instead of rime?
I would think, yes, it should look a lot different, I would think. But, I mean, a lot of it has to do with the temperature of the refrigerator and the environment, too, as far as the way the ice looks. You stick ice in a glass of water for a little while, it will somewhat become clear. And then how much oxygen is in the water as well. If you have a lot of oxygen in the water as it goes through the lines in your refrigerator, it could put a white tinge to the ice itself. So the production environment and the quality of water all play into it. But you are far better off by using a filter, and we actually have a pretty large inline filter that contains a lot of media. It has KDF and carbon in it, very similar to what our shower filter technology does. That goes behind your refrigerator and will give you the optimal water for your ice maker. And if you have a water dispenser on your fridge, it'll also give you clean water there as well.
Oh, my tendons. That's been the biggest bugger of mine. I've purchased ice makers, and the pumps go dry on me, and it costs so much to repair the pumps that I'm reluctant to buy another one. But I have not been satisfied. So inline filtration would purify the water and make it so pure so as to allow my refrigerator ice maker to give me clear ice instead of rime. Did I just hear that right?
That's right. That's right.
All right.
And we have a program similar to what we do with our air purifiers that I'll mention briefly, and then we can go into the other products if you like. The program that works so well for the air purifiers is that zone purification, where you're buying 2 air purifiers, you're getting one free. You can stick it in your living room, your bedroom, and then an auxiliary area, whether it's a basement or a upstairs area. Well, we thought the same concept would work well for water, too. And what that is putting, if you believe you need to have clean water at your sink, we put a under-the-counter system in your sink so you have clean filtered water coming into your tap. The second place to go is your showers, because if you're having a problem with your water at your tap, then you can be more exposed to toxins in your showers than you are with the water at your tap. So we're going to put in two shower filters into that pack as well. So if we're buying one of the under-counter systems and 2 shower filters, we're going to throw in that inline filter for your refrigerator, and then we're also going to throw in a free travel bottle for you to travel with. And it's actually a filter that's in a bottle that you can carry around, and it filters up to 50 gallons of water. So you've got a family of 5 products there you're getting for a price of $399.95. And if you end up buying the air and the water, we'll throw in free shipping.
Hey, these are very interesting. Once again, so that our listeners could take you up on your offer, the number to Healthy Perceptions, which is it once again?
It is 888-340-0247, And again, that's 888-340-0247. Rock is our sales director. If you get a hold of him, ask him about it, he'll be happy to help you.
Okay, mention our program and Impact on Your Health, and they get these special deals.
Yep, we'll get you free shipping if you mention Impact Health.
Okay. About you have a water pitcher, okay?
We do.
You do, and certainly on the mass media in my home on television, every day I see at least 3 or 4 different advertisements from different companies.
Right.
This is a hot item nowadays.
Right.
It's sort of the poor man's way of handling the ability to get pure water to drink. I think anyone working at the tap now, you just cannot drink tap water. You cannot.
Right. Well, it's a convenience product, and most of them are very effective. You have some products out there. You take the big ones, the Brita, the G's, the Pures. If you look at their test results, they're only testing against a few different contaminants, mostly chlorine. And the reason that it's not because they don't have the money to do it. I mean, these companies are owned by Clorox, GE, and Procter & Gamble. These products are. So the money's there to do the testing, but they're not as effective in treating other contaminants. Where those products are doing 7 or 8 contaminants, we're doing over 200 contaminants with our water pitcher. Those products will clean about 40 gallons of water. Ours cleans 160 gallons of water. So we're doing 4 times the capacity, and we're doing well over 200 contaminants. And what makes us different with that product is that we're using an ionic block carbon filtration device. And it's the same product that's in our water bottle and our pitcher. You have 1 filter in our water bottle. You have 3 of those in our pitcher. But with our water bottle, we do a illustration on TV or an example on TV that's pretty powerful. And we take potting soil and put it in the bottom of this bottle, and then take it and fill it full of water, and you make black mud. And then we squirt it out into a glass, and me and the host of the show both drink it. It comes out clear and tastes as great as you can possibly believe. So it's a very powerful filter. Now, we can't do that with the pitcher because it's not under pressure. It's a gravity filter. If you pour a bunch of dirt in a pitcher, it's going to clog it up. But we're able to demonstrate the technology with the water bottle, and it is very, very powerful.
Well, do you think I could use a few of these down there in New Orleans right now?
Absolutely.
Would you take oil out? Do you take oil out of water?
Well, I haven't tested against that yet, but I'm sure it will help. That's a good idea.
Well, the pitcher is one that I highly recommend. I've been using that too. My family automatically just converted over, and now instead of bottled water, which we had to get so much of, they're really, the stuff tastes great. It's a pretty large. How much is in the reservoir? Is that a quart?
It's a half gallon.
A half gallon.
Yes, sir.
So a half gallon gets filtered through, and it trickles through on its own, gravity
about
fed.
3 to 5 minutes, correct.
Is that how long it takes? About 3 to 5 minutes to fill it up?
Yes.
Which,
it depends on the water, but usually about 3 to 5 minutes.
Can you do anything in my family to make my children fill it up? Because every time I go to use it, it's empty, and it's just laying there, and there's fog in it because there's no more liquid.
We'll have to give a notepad to put on the pitcher.
Yeah.
That'll be a good product with our logo on it.
So talk about, because you seem to have taken the idea of price in mind and taken it to the next level.
We have. I mean, there are a lot of products out there for water. You have RO systems, you have distillers, and these products are good. I'm not going to say they're bad, but in some cases they're a little bit of an overkill, and they're expensive to maintain and do the replacements on, and so on and so forth. The water supply that we have in America here is typically fairly safe. Now, safe does not mean healthy. The water supplied to us by our city is usually deemed safe in most cases. But safe, again, is not healthy. What we try to do is take safe water in some circumstances and make it healthier. Now, I would beg to differ when you're taking water that has chlorine in it and heating it up to a very hot temperature and taking a shower in it and off-gassing chlorine to your lungs and throat, and I don't know how safe that is. So that's why we do highly recommend the shower filter as well.
Now, I noticed most people would be thinking about the removal of chlorine as an objective, certainly your objective, but I'm looking at literature that comes, for instance, with the pitcher, and you remove a lot of organisms. I mean, a lot of organisms, pathogenic or Giardia,
right,
Cryptosporidia, anthrax, E. coli. I mean, these are found in the regular water systems at high levels. I know What other things do you remove other than these pathogens that maybe listeners never really even considered to be found in the, you say, safe drinking water coming out of the tap, but not real healthy?
Well, there are many pathogens in the water and bacteria as well, and you'll find that we remove a slew of bacteria in the water. You know, we're trying to do some testing now on with the pitcher on removing pharmaceuticals from the water.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, well, we've gotten some pretty good results. Well, from what again, that pitcher is not a product that we manufacture. We're a master distributor of that pitcher, but it is the factory is telling us they're getting some pretty good results on it so far. So I don't know what they are exactly as of yet, but we do know we are effective in removing some of the pharmaceuticals as well. And again, with pharmaceuticals, you're talking about parts per billion, which are trace amounts.
But it's still a drug. It's
Yep.
still a drug, and it's in our public water supply. And if somebody could do the research to find out, okay, if you use your system on that public water supply, how effective are you with removing these even parts per billion,
Sure.
which are minute, but nonetheless are drugs that over the long haul have got
Right.
to have a deleterious effect.
And another one for the shower filter are chloramines. A lot of city municipalities are going to chloramines in lieu of chlorine. And there are a lot of filters out there that will remove chlorine, but are ineffective in removing chloramines. And we're removing over 50% of chloramines with that shower filter, which isn't, you would love to have it at 99%, but chloramines is a different animal that we're having to deal with. And most filters are ineffective altogether against removing chloramines.
Pretty easy hookup too. I'm looking at a picture. It looks like it just screws right on to the shower head, and then besides that, is that a massage shower head that comes along with it, or is that part of?
It does. No, actually, we have a massage shower head that comes with it, and we have an optional shower wand too that you can put on the product as well.
All right. Hey, we got another knock on the door. You'll take the question, right, John?
Yep.
Hey, come on the store. You're with Mr. John Kerr. He owns the company. Go right ahead.
Good morning, Dr. Courtney.
Hi.
I had a quick question, and I don't know if this is the right show for that, but it's kind of on the subject. He was talking about like oxygenation and water,
Okay.
and I wanted his opinion on the liquid supplement that you would put either, I think you could dilute it in water, or you can put it maybe under your tongue. They're called oxygen drops. And I wanted his theoretical opinion as to whether they can really oxygenate your body.
Oh, there's a whole line of products I hear about. The
Oh,
super
yeah.
water, right? This is the kind of question you're asking about this.
Yeah, because
I think
I've heard
you
different
ask more
people
about
say
supplements.
no, it doesn't really do anything, and other people said it has the potential to do.
All right, John, what do you think? You're familiar with this designation, aren't
Yeah,
you?
not really. I think she's referring to more of a supplement, and we don't deal with many supplements in-house.
But can you oxygenate water greater than it already is by a drop of something?
There are some that say they can. I don't know how effective they are. There are cyclone reservoirs out there that will actually say they can oxygenate water, and that somehow gets into your body, into your bloodstream. I personally, I haven't tested it.
All right,
I don't
fair
know
enough.
about the theory. What I can tell you on most products like this, and definitely with all of our products, is we have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So most companies, especially with a new technology, will let you try it first. So my recommendation is that if you are truly interested, try it. And if they have a risk-free trial, then you'll get your money back, and there's no worries in the end.
Okay, because this particular product just says oxygen molecules in a solution of sodium chloride and distilled water.
Yep.
All right.
There may be something to it, but I couldn't give you an honest answer on.
Just can't help you on that one. We'll trying to figure out an answer for you some other way, okay?
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay.
Oh, she asks great questions all the time. She pushes us to the limit around here. We're so thankful for her, though.
Absolutely.
All right, why don't we do this? Why don't we take a short break, John?
Okay.
We'll come back in a minute. You out there in listening land may want to get a pencil and paper. I'm going to ask John to give you that information about the company again. You get a special deal. These are reasonably priced products compared to the industry. You see what that stuff costs on TV. We'll be back in a moment with the owner of the company of Healthy Perceptions. See you then.
Want to help help your family eat healthier? Instead of learning to disguise tofu in wondrous ways, how about some real nutritional power? If your family has the typical American palate for fries, pizza, and burgers, giving your family the blessing of good nutrition is a struggle. Fruit of the Spirit is the answer for your family's nutritional needs. Fruit of the Spirit is an all-natural whole fruit puree made from fresh fruits native to the Holy Land with alkalizing minerals. Fruit of the Spirit was 5 years in the formulation, the work of a team of top nutritional experts with independent science to confirm its antioxidant power. 1 ounce a day provides the equivalent of 5 servings of fruits and minerals. Fruit of the Spirit is convenient, affordable, and delicious. Even your picky family will sing the praises of Fruit of the Spirit. Give your loved ones the blessing of good nutrition. Call 1-800-442-3793 for a special promotional offer. Fruit of the Spirit, a blessing for your good health. That's 1-800-442-3793. Call them now, 1-800-442-3793.
This is Dennis J. Courtney, MD. Have you become confused about how best to manage your health? It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough, but no matter how dutifully you follow the instruction, it just doesn't quite produce the results that you were looking for. If this confusion sounds familiar to you, give us a call at the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years. We offer metabolic nutrition testing, immune system repair, natural hormone replacement therapy, chelation therapy, cutting-edge allergy correction, and a host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
Dennis J. Courtney, MD, is located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
Good morning, and welcome back once again to AM Impact on Your Health on this Friday morning, get 'em up out of town version of the show. The weekend is just around the corner, but we're sending you off with some knowledgeable amounts of information today on the purification of water, air, you name it, through a company that I think really deserves to have a spotlight put on them. The company's called Healthy Perception. The owner, John Kerr, lifelong mission. Father sort of passed this thing on to him, and he's picked up the ball and run with it. We're finding about, the air, the pitcher for the refrigerator, the inline filter, the shower filter, there's just so many products. John, you still with us there, my friend?
Yes, sir.
It looks as though you were always in a quest to improve the products that you have, and I'm guessing probably come out with new innovations yet unseen by the public. What do you got? I'm just trying to figure out. What do you got on the drawing board back there that hasn't come out yet?
Well, we're always looking for the next new and great thing out there. The concept of our company is that, our doctors in many cases do a great job of taking care of us and treating us once we're sick. But a lot of times we're sick due to the environment that we're in. It may be something in the air. It could be something from the water we're drinking. And what we try to do is have products that can help improve our environment, therefore help cut down on our doctor bills and hopefully cut down on our medications that we're taking. So, what we've been doing since December, Dr. Courtney, is this concept of zone purification. And
what is that concept?
Everybody has seemed to really grasp onto it. And if you think of how, let's just say a house is heating and cool. This is also a different subject because we don't heat and cool houses. We're a purification company. But if you're using a radiator or a fireplace to heat a home, or if you're using a window unit to cool a home, it's far less effective and efficient than using a whole house system, a HVAC system, to heat and cool a home, because you're getting hot and cool air dispersed in every room of the house. Well, with zone purification, instead of saying that we're going to take one air purifier, stick it in the living room, and clean the whole house, we're taking multiple units. And through our promotion of where you buy 2, get 1 free, these units cover up to 700 square feet. Typical home is a couple thousand square feet, so you can have 1 in your living room, 1 in your bedroom, where most people don't think of this. That's where you spend a third of your life. Typically 8 hours a day is in the bedroom. And then a third one for a remote location, such as a basement or an upstairs area or an adjoining hallway to a couple of bedrooms. But using this technology, which again is a proactive approach to cleaning air, it's not a filter. We're not trying to pull all the air in your home into a little box and regurgitate it. We're actually going to the source of problem and cleaning at the source. Most of these systems out there on the market retail from anywhere from $500 to $600 to $700 or $800. If you pull photocatalysis or ozone or ionization, you're gonna see that kind of pricing out there. With this buy two get one free, it's $599.95. And if you mention your show, we'll throw in free shipping, as I said. But it's basically an average of $200 a unit.
Very effectively priced compared to I've seen, you talk 5 or 6, I've seen them much more expensive than that. There's some companies.
Well, sure.
I'm not necessarily sure that they're all that much better than your product. Some concepts work by pricing them so high that people think, oh, this has to be good. Not so, evidently, from your perspective.
Well, and people think that you put a purifier or UV lamp in your HVAC system, that makes a whole house purifier. But in most cases, it's not. In almost all cases. And the reason that is, and the reason I challenge that, is you're limited by where your return air is. So you're still acting like a filter, and you're still limited to where that return air is in your house, where the intake is for your HVAC system. So if you have a mold problem in your bathroom, it's not getting to your living room where your return air vent is, that's circulating it throughout the house and giving you clean air. So those help, but I'm telling you, it's not as effective as using multiple air purifiers in multiple locations, which is what we do.
Well, how about stacking up your zone purification to what I at least believe has been promoted as the best way to handle this, which is a central unit that goes on your forced air heating and cooling system, those are very expensive from what I've learned about them. Is that true? And if that's true, that they're so expensive, are they worth all that money?
Well, that's what I was saying is that this is putting on your forced system, which is you're speaking about an HVAC system or an HVAC system in a home, correct?
I don't know what I'm speaking about. I just know that there are units that you put on your central heating and central cooling that are supposed to purify the air throughout the entire house. They're extremely expensive. They're like in the hundreds of dollars.
They are, and they're calling that a whole house system. But again, why I challenge that is because those systems only clean the air that comes through the system, and you have a return air somewhere in your home. Wherever you typically replace your filter at, usually it's in a central hallway or it's in the living room area. But you have a grate that's 2 or 3 feet by 2 or 3 feet that all the air is being pulled into. Well, again, as I said, if you have a contaminant in your bathroom, is it really pulling the air through the bathroom, through your bedroom, out into that hallway and sucking it up in the hallway? I don't think it is. So the only way to get to that spot in the bathroom or in the bedroom is taking one of our systems and putting it in there. And our systems are 9 inches tall. They plug into the wall. They're very portable, very user-friendly. If you travel, you can throw it in your suitcase. If you have an odor that's created in your car, plug it into an extension cord, leave it in your car overnight, and you'll kill that odor, that problem in your car.
All right. John, we have bongos in the background. That's our signal to get on out of town.
Sounds great.
And I thank you so much for, first of all, sending those products on to me.
Absolutely.
Use every one of them. I'm so glad that I've repaid you now. At least I remembered when I saw the numbers and everything. I got to give you a call. You have brought some information to our listeners that I think they'll take and run with it.
And can we give that number one more time?
Go ahead. As we're saying goodbye, go right ahead.
That's 888-340-0247. That was 888-340-0247. Thank you, Dr. Courtney.
Okay, thank you. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed our show today. Look forward to seeing you on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend. Until then, this is Dr. Dennis Courtney with Mr. John Kerr saying so long for AM Impact on Your Health.
AM Impact on Your Health is sponsored by Dennis J. Courtney, MD.